this video, I'd like to show you how you can use your calculator to divide when there's a remainder. Here's an example that we could try. Let's try to divide 701 by 4. If you do that on your calculator, you get 175 and 25 hundredths. Well, I can use my calculator to determine that that's 175 remainder 1. Or in other words, I can translate that 25 hundredths into a remainder of 1. Here's how. What we need to do is recognize that 701, if it's divided by 4 and the quotient is 175, then 4 times 175 is going to be smaller than 701. So what I'm looking for is that remainder, which ends up being 1. Here's how you find the remainder. On your calculator, you could multiply 4 times 175. And remember, we got that 175 by using the calculator and dividing 701 divided by 4. So we take the 4, and a shortcut on your calculator, by the way, is to just leave that 4 on the calculator. So we'll do 4 times 175, and then leave that result on the calculator. What I'm left with, that 700, you could look at it and say, oh, well, the difference between 700 and 701 is 1. So we could get that missing remainder just by looking at it in some cases. Sometimes you would need to subtract. So you would just simply do the 701 minus 700. Now, as a shortcut, as I mentioned, you could leave that result on your calculator. Instead of erasing everything and then subtracting 701 minus 700, we could be a little bit tricky and leave that 700 on the calculator and just say subtract 701. The result would be negative 1, and you could use some number sense to then recognize, oh, then the remainder must be positive 1. Let me walk you through that in one other way here. Notice, oh, I apologize that this looks like it's going off the screen just a little bit, so let me adjust that. If I did long division, 701 divided by 4, I'd get the 175, and then I'm going to have a remainder of 1. So how could I get that using a calculator? Well, I could take the 701 and divide it on my calculator by 4 and just keep the whole number part of the quotient. That's the 175. So then on my calculator, I would do 175 times 4, and that's going to give me 700. And then say minus 701, and that's going to give me a negative 1, which my number sense can tell me, oh, then the remainder must be 1. We could check this by saying 175 times 4 is 700, and then 700 plus that remainder of 1 gives us 701.